didn't have to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of.
So, what we're going to talk about today?
Well, I was wanting to talk about, people going to prison for the first time, because I've had a lot of people on my channel. I don't know about yours, but lately a lot of people have shown interest on my channel about people going to prison for the first time. People have loved ones and friends and family that are going to prison, and they want to know if there's any tips that we have for them.
Right. Yeah, I get those questions too. And, along with the people who already have loved ones in there, they want to know what it's like for them, But I would say the main thing is mind your own business. Stay away from anything that'll get you in debt, gambling, drugs, anything like that. That's the main ones.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say about the same, just because if you don't mind your own business, then you can get yourself caught up in politics, or you can be accused of, putting yourself in a situation that doesn't involve you, or you could be accused of being a rat.
Right.
If you're paying way too much attention to a situation that doesn't involve you, you look like a rat for real.
Right.
So you need to mind your own business and stay in your own lane and do your own thing. And then when it comes to getting in debt, man, I don't know about Missouri, but we have some notorious booty bandits here in Kansas. And I remember when I was in El Dorado, we were with a guy named Bohannon. He's a notorious booty bandit in the Kansas system. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 280-ish to 300 pounds. He's a big guy. And I would see these young guys get out of the diagnostic unit. In Kansas, we call that RDU. And within the first week of being down, they'd be down at the poker table playing with Bohannon, this notorious booty bandit. And I just had to shake my head like, man, you're going to lose to that man. He's been playing poker for years, and you're going to owe him something, and you ain't going to be able to pay him. And then you're in a position you don't want to be.
A lot of times new guys come in, and some people ask them, hey, you want to play poker with us? And what they don't realize is all three of them guys are working together against him.
Yeah.
It's not that everybody against everybody, they're all ganging up on him. He doesn't even know it.
Right. I mean, I'm sad to say it. I used to do that. Not when I was in prison, but before I ever went to prison, I used to run buddy hustles against people. Me and a couple of my friends, we'd go and play poker with someone. We'd take all their money, and they thought that it was a fair game, but it wasn't. It was all fixed.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. The storeman. I would say when you first go to prison, you should stay out of debt. Later on, once you get established, maybe you can start, you get known things. Maybe you go to the storeman or whatever, but, storeman is going to want paid. You go and get the store, he's going to want his money,
right,
one way or another.
Well, once you've been down for a while, man, it's like you make friends. You're established, you're known, but you also make friends, and you don't even have to go to the store, man, a lot of times. I've got buddies in prison that will come up to me without even asking. It's crazy, man, because being out here on the streets, I've had to work really hard for everything that I have. But I can tell you right now, I could go to any camp in the state of Kansas, and someone would pull up on me and say, hey, man, you need any coffee? You need stamps? You need soups? You need anything? Just holler at me, because I'm established. And once you've been down for a while, and it doesn't take a real long time, maybe a few years, but you make connections with people, and they're going to look out for you. You won't even have to go to a store, man. Someone will give you something if you need it, and they'll get mad if you offer to pay them back.
I tried paying a friend of mine back. He's more like a brother almost. I tried to get him back I think it's a box of Nutty Bars or something like that from him. He goes, I don't want that back. I said, well, you know, I got it from you. I'm just giving it back to you. He goes, you give that to me, I'm going to throw it out on the wall. And, all right, you know.
Absolutely, man. I mean, once you're cool with someone and you know them on that level, because when you're down for a while, you're going to find yourself in some shit at some point or another, whether it's yourself or one of your buddies. It's like being in the trenches with someone. I've met a lot of people who have been from the military, and a lot of my experiences are really similar to theirs. You know, you go through stuff with people. You're there with them in some of the roughest times of their lives, and you make connections. Those bonds that you make in adversity aren't like, you know, something out here where it's kind of superficial sometimes. You have to have each other's backs. You have to look out for each other. And if you don't, you know, one of you could get hurt real bad. So when you have a deep connection like that, man, you're just going to look out for each other.
That's not to downgrade friendships out here, you know. But in there, it's different, you know. It's like you said, you've been through a lot of shit together, you know. So, and things are, you develop a friendship in a different way than you would out here, you know. And sometimes it seems people you don't even know will start hanging around. I remember when I went to Algo, I got dropped from a 5 to 1, 1 being the lowest low level camp. And there was this guy there that was, I never even knew him. I think I'd seen him a few times, but I didn't talk to him or anything. He was there from a high level camp. And he and I just kind of hung together, not because we really knew one another or anything, but because we'd been in the same camp before, you know, in high level camps before. There was a connection of being in maximum prisons together. You know?
Right.
And neither one of us liked the lower level camp prisons. I didn't like the way the people were there.
What do you think was one of the roughest situations you've been in where you've had to watch someone's back or something like that?
A friend of mine got into it with somebody. He went to somebody else's aid. And he's one of those type of people. It was that guy I was telling you, it's like a brother to him. He's one of those type of people that if he sees a situation where somebody's getting jumped, he don't like to see a bunch of people on one person. You know? So he went up there and got into it. The guy that he went up there to help just disappeared. Well, I came out in the yard and I seen all these people gathered around him. I went up there and this guy tells me this has nothing to do with you. I said, yeah, it does. I said, that's my partner there. And they said, well, we got to honor that. But, you know, you're in a bad situation here. And the funny thing is, there was another guy that came up there and he talked to him and got it all squashed. But it was about to be a bad situation there, you know.
Yeah.
We would have lost. I know we would have lost. So
sometimes, though, when you're in a situation like that, even if you know you're not going to win, you can't abandon your principles either. And if you are loyal to somebody, you can't really run away. You know, if you have courage and you have loyalty, that won't allow you to run away from the situation. You're going to be there for your friends and you're not going to back down either.
Right. Think of it this way. Say I didn't get involved in that. You know, I just like stayed away from it. Whether he made it or not, other people would know that I didn't come to his aid. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. I'm glad you said that, because getting back to what we started this off with new guys going to prison, I think we should talk about what happens when you don't fight back and what happens when you don't stand up for yourself. Because a lot of guys will come into the system and they think that, you know, they don't need to defend themselves. You know, I'm going to be the bigger man and walk away. But having done almost 30 years, you know what happens when a guy looks soft and looks like he ain't going to stand up for himself. Yeah, if I walk up to you, Harvey, and you walked away, or even vice versa, if you walked up to me and you were, you know, putting pressure on me to get you store or something like that. Let's just, the most common one in Kansas, I don't know about Missouri, but the most common one in Kansas, if I was pushing up on someone to to go to store for me, or they were pushing up on me and one of us walked away, you tell me what would happen.
You're gonna have everybody on the camp on you. You know, you're gonna have all the wolves coming in on you. At least that's the way it is in Missouri. You know, and the next day, it doesn't take long. Next day, everybody's going, you know, that you back down, and that you're ripe for take it. The booty bandits are going to come. The people trying to get money from you are going to come. You know, people trying to extort. It's going to be endless. So you might as well just fight and get it over.
Yeah, I'd rather fight one fight than have to fight the whole camp. Personally, if you don't just stand up for yourself out the gate, then you're going to have problems with everyone and prove yourself to everyone, because now you have that in your jacket. You know, he's a punk, or he's a bitch, or he's scared. And you don't want that in your jacket. That'll follow you around everywhere. So, I mean, if someone pushes up on you when you first get down, then you need to stand on your own 2 feet and you need to handle your business. Even if you lose, people know that you're not an easy target.
Right. And sometimes the people that will come to you, they won't come to you like some of the others. You know, some of them will just say, hey, I'm taking this, I'm doing this or doing that. But some of them will come up to you and play the nice guy with you and say, hey, can I get a coffee or something? You give them a bag of coffee. And then when you go, hey, later on, when you go say, hey, can I get my bag of coffee back? They'll say, you're beat, you know, you ain't nothing.
Yeah. And that's the other buddy hustle. People will act like they're real good friends with you and stuff like that just because you got money or you have some crunch or something like that, or they think you do. And they'll try to get every little thing out of you. Hey, man, can I get a soup? And if you give it to them the next store day, they're going to be, hey, man, could I get a box of Debbie's or whatever? And, you know, if you don't learn how to say no, you're not going to have anything. Because there's not just one person that does that. There's a lot of people in prison that like to mooch off people.
You got those that once you give them a few things, they almost get to where they expect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then they'll get mad when you don't give it to them. It's like, motherfucker, it's my coffee anyway. You know, why are you mad at me because you can't have it? Man, there are so many people that'll mooch off you in prison and just try to take advantage of you, because it really is the law of the jungle in there. You know, it's take what you can and can all you get. That's what people are trying to do. What kind of time did you do? Were you the type of dude who kind of stuck to yourself, or were you moving around? How did you do your time? How did you do that much time without getting in a train wreck?
I've been in a few messes that I had trouble getting out of. I had a group of people I hung around with, but I never joined any gangs or anything like that. You know, and I was asked to a couple of times. But, you know, I know how that works. You join the gang and then you can't leave and you got to do what they say. I ain't about all that, you know. So I had a few people I hung around with, you know, worked out stuff. That was about it. We had each other's backs.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best way to do it. You know, I think the biggest train wreck I ever got in was behind some gang stuff, because I did join a gang towards the end of my sentence because I was trying to look out for one of my childhood friends, a dude that I grew up with, and he joined up, and nobody would help me keep an eye on this dude unless I was joined up. And I already knew most of the dudes who were in it. I was on really good terms with them. And that kind of softened my resolve against gangs, I think, because for a long time, I wouldn't have nothing to do with a gang. I didn't respect them. I didn't really agree with how they operated. But I was looking over the bylaws, and a lot of the bylaws sounded real good. It talked about integrity and respect and loyalty and honor. And I'm all about all that stuff, because in prison, you don't have a bunch of material stuff to define you. What you have are the principles that you live by and how you carry yourself. You take all that other superficial bullshit away, and that's what you have. And I ended up joining this gang, and it was the worst choice I ever made. Out of all the time that I did and all the stupid stuff that I've done, That's one of the things that I regret the most. And it about got me in some bad wrecks. A bunch of political stuff happened. I almost got stabbed. And in the end of the day, I can't say any of it was truly worth it.
Well, I remember when the Family Values formed, and I knew the guy who formed it. And it started as a good old, not even really as a gang, really. It was just supposed to be a group that would help young people coming in, you know, fight their fight for them, be there if they needed it, you know. And so it started out, it had good ideals and stuff, but it eventually became a violent gang, you know, all about drugs, and some of them in it were racist. And so it just became violent. They're fighting another gang in Springfield now. And, you know, they're out in the streets now and they're fighting. And so it just became bad, you know. But like you, I know many people and I'm friends with many people that are in it. In fact, I interviewed one of my partners that was in prison, and he's a member of it. When he's telling me, he goes, "Hey, you know how we said we was never going to join a gang?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I did."
Yeah. That's how it works sometimes, man.
I don't put people down that are in gangs. That's just for me, you know.
I don't either, but I disagreed with it strongly for a really long time. And to this day, that's one of my biggest regrets because I kind of betrayed my principle. I had strong beliefs against that, and I went against my own beliefs and my own better judgment. And anytime you do something like that, anytime you betray yourself, you know, you're going to have some regret behind it. And it's just one of those things with me. Like, I don't hate on people who are still in it, but it's not for me.